Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do a running stitch. So the running stitch is the most basic type of stitches that we use in textiles. So what you'll do first of all is you want to practice your running stitch even if you've done it before. So you get your piece of fabric, which is called calico. It's a cheap type of cotton. And what we'll ask you to do is draw your initial. Now, my initial is M, and I'm doing it really big so that you get more of a chance to practice the running stitch. So you draw it in pencil, obviously not in pen, because the pencil isn't going to show up so much once you sew over it. I'd recommend using a contrasting thread so it's going to be easier for you to see. Now, the first thing we do is we do a back stitch. A back stitch is when you sew over the same stitch a few times at the start of your sewing instead of doing a knot. Okay, so what we do is we insert the needle through the back of the fabric. We're holding our needle nice and firmly so the thread doesn't come out, and we're holding the fabric nice and firmly so the thread doesn't come all the way through the fabric. Okay, we make our stitch. The stitch should be about 5 millimeters in length, no bigger, and you've made your first stitch. Now, obviously, if you pull on that, it's going to come out, so what we need to do is reinforce it. So back stitching is when you sew over the same stitch maybe 3 times in order to reinforce it. So I'm just coming up through the same point and going down through the same point. What some students do is they get confused and they go around the side. It isn't what you want to be doing. You want to be going up, bring it all the way through and down. And if you pull on that, you can see it's not going to come out, okay? And this can be used for lots of different types of stitches, and that is how you do it. Okay, so this is running stitch part 2. So as you can see, we've already done our back stitch, which is our 3 times reinforcing. Now what you want to do is just continue to do your basic running stitch. So as I've already explained, your stitch should be about 5 millimeters in length, and there should be a gap between each stitch in the running stitch, which is about 3 millimeters, no more than 3 millimeters. So what you're trying to do is sew directly onto the letter that you have drawn for yourself. So the reason the gaps are supposed to be quite small is that you want your stitching to be nice and secure, and you want it to be nice and straight. Remember pulling it all the way up, trying to get it nice and straight. You want your stitches to be nice and tight. The tighter and straighter they are, the higher the level that you're going to get. Okay, and that is how you do your running stitch.